core thesis of feminism. And it's contrary to Islam. It's contrary to human nature. And these red pill authors are pointing that out. Some of them better than others, some of them in a way that's more acceptable Islamically than others, but nonetheless. So Warren Farrell, the myth of male power. Warren Farrell was a feminist himself. He was like a kind of, we would use the word simp, and we'll define that word in a minute. But he was a feminist. He was a hardcore feminist. He was like a card-carrying member of the feminist movement, literally. But then he rejected that movement, and he said, look, I realize that there's a lot of injustice that's happening to men because of this feminist movement. And he started writing his book. He has a lot of books, but the main one is The Myth of Male Power, published in 1993. So what about this so-called manosphere? So people, when they talk about red pill, they're not really thinking about this long history that I'm talking about, going back to the 19th century. They're talking about the manosphere, like the present day online blogs. This started, in the mid-90s with the rise of the internet. Immediately, you have these groups, these men's rights figures and groups going and bashing feminism, arguing against feminism. That has happened since the beginning of the internet. And you had a lot of different blogs dedicated to counteract feminism. You had this main blog that's called A Voice for Men. It was established in 2009. You had different figures like Paul Elam, Rollo Tomasi, Roger Devlin, Leonard Sachs, Susan Venker, Camille Paglia, Cassie J, Karen Strahan, many people, many different figures that have been writing and speaking and have been part of this, what's now called red pill movement. And these people, by the way, they don't all agree with each other. Some of them argue, viscerally, or not viscerally, but vociferously against each other. So that's, it's a diverse movement, but they're all dedicated to this one central theme that I keep emphasizing of opposing feminism and supporting these aspects of men's authority, men's rights. In 2014, you had a big social media movement, went viral, Women Against Feminism. Women protesting against feminism, that happened in 2014. In 2016, you had this documentary called The Red Pill. It is an interesting documentary. I recommend that you do watch it. I don't agree with everything that's in that documentary, especially the last part, because of the last part, they start going off against circumcision. They say circumcision is genital mutilation, and they oppose circumcision for boys. So obviously, as Muslims, we don't agree with that. But that is, some of these red pill people are advocating for banning circumcision. So obviously, we don't agree with that, and we will oppose them on that point. But the documentary as a whole, I recommend watching it and stream.